If I've said it once, I've said it 11 billion times. Even here on this indie gaming focused channel, I have whined, moaned, complained, screamed, and even farted about my hatred of what Bethesda has done to Fallout. Bethesda has completely ruined Fallout. We can't rely on Bethesda giving us good Fallout games. There's no black and white morality like you'd find in a Bethesda Fallout game. It's not Bethesda's game engine that makes their games buggy as hell. It's bad programming and the lack of time and interest in fixing them. Seeing as how Bethesda's version of Fallout is a good versus evil, shoot everything in the face until you win kind of game. That clip would have been longer if I weren't so lazy. See, I had a stretch a while ago where I insulted Fallout 4 in every single video I made, but I don't remember what videos they were, and I'm not watching back years worth of videos, so, yeah. I even made a 36-minute presentation on my personal channel breaking down everything wrong with Fallout 4. In fact, I consider it essential viewing for today's episode, so stop watching this video, watch that one, and then come back here. There'll be a quiz at the end. If you don't want to bother, then my biggest problem comes down to not only the complete lack of meaningful player choice, but also the illusion of choice the game creates around itself. It's not a Fallout game, rather a first-person shooter poorly masquerading as Fallout. Now with Fallout 76 being an online co-op shooter where you run around dropping nukes like Johnny Nuclear Seed, oh, that was awful. It feels like the franchise that many of us have grown up and fallen in love with is dead. At least, the official franchise is dead. In the alternate time stream of fandom and the internet, old school Fallout is alive and well thanks to the wide open world of mods. Yes, today we are talking about the modding community for Madden 2008. Sorry, I mean Fallout. Now, if you'll let me indulge in talking about myself for just a little longer, I want to disclose that I have worked on many mods for Fallout New Vegas. War Trash and its sequel were both created by me, of which I now refer to as War Trash because, well, I also worked on New California and the Frontier briefly, and I provided voice acting for quite a few projects.
Spread out. I want them found, I want them dead. The other one's here somewhere. Keep looking. I got you now, you bitch. Time to die.
Yeah, I wasn't fantastic. But as you can tell from the number of projects I've ruined, and the dearth of news you may have heard about big modding projects over the years, the Fallout modding community is not only active, but vibrant with folks making massive mods that resemble that of DLC. Some of these mods are even brand new games. But because they are mods, Bethesda can't do anything about them. Ha! Sorry. Bethesda did shut down one mod recently, a fan recreation of Fallout 3 using Fallout 4's engine. Their bloodthirsty lawyers swooped in on that one not because it's a war of mods or anything, but because the people making it did a big no-no. They took audio, including all the voice acting, directly from Fallout 3 and imported it into their mod. You cannot take another game's assets, even if it's a game within that franchise, and use it in your mod. You can only use assets from the game you're modding, or make your own. They would have been fine if they brought in their own actors to re-record dialogue, but for whatever reason, the project lead refused and thus cancelled the whole thing. Anyway, I wanted to highlight 5 separate cases of these massive mods that showcase just what's wrong with Bethesda's take on Fallout. And for the sake of fairness, though I haven't done my own modding in about 3 or 4 years, I won't be talking about any of the mods I worked on, except for Cascadia, which I was in discussions to write for but never actually did any work for. I hope that's okay. Now, let's get started. I am really excited about this video, in case you couldn't tell.
Just do yourself a favor. Don't go near that building. Something strange is going on. And I hate to say it, but this might be the beginning of something big.
Fallout Miami might be the most well-known Fallout mod thanks to their incredible marketing, and by how open the modders are. I'm not even sure if I should stick with modders and just call them developers instead, because this is a brand new game using Fallout 4. Everything about this mod, from the world, characters, assets, and story are 100% original, made from scratch by the folks working on the mod. Or should I call it a full-blown game? Set in Miami, Florida, the game takes place a few years after the events of Fallout 4. Fallout Miami is a direct sequel to 4 and features the same protagonist from that game. It takes place within a large section of Miami Beach, and the map will be a little bit bigger than that of Far Harbor. They say the game map covered will be from South Point Pier to Fontainebleau Hotel, if that means anything to anyone watching. The developers have shared little about the story so far, but the team made one radical decision that I love, and may allow them enough creative freedom to tell their own story. According to an FAQ on the mod's Reddit page, the team does not intend to bring multiple factions from previous Fallout games to Miami. They've confirmed the Enclave will show up and you can join them, but aside from them, every other faction will be brand new. Instead of the classic Brotherhood or some other local government, Miami is gang territory, with 3 rival gangs controlling the city. You've got the Nuclear Patriots, who are the closest thing the game has to good guys, the Dreamers, who are the big drug dealers and users, and the Cubanos, the classic 1920s gangsters. And did I mention this mod will have drivable vehicles? I don't know what that noise was. The team behind Miami is open about the development process, posting monthly update videos on their YouTube channel. Of all the mods we're looking at today, I'm perhaps the most pessimistic about this one. I do have concerns about how this is a direct sequel to Fallout 4 and how they're connecting that story to this one. I don't know if I mentioned this yet, but I'm not a big fan of Fallout 4, so to hear mod team going all in on that specific story, even if it looks great so far, has me a bit cautious.
The wall protects us from raiders, traitors, and cowards. They never mentioned it would trap us in here.
Fallout Cascadia is the big Fallout mod I'm really excited for. Years ago when I spoke to lead writer Vic Holberg, he made it very clear his feelings for Fallout 4 and where he wanted to take Cascadia. We discussed all this on Discord about 3 years ago, so the crux of what we talked about has been lost to history, but I remember him telling me he was not a fan of the direction Bethesda had taken Fallout 4. He didn't like what they've done with the plot and the lack of player choice in that plot and the gameplay, and promised Cascadia would be more like New Vegas in those regards. That regard? Cascadia takes place in what is modern-day Seattle in the year 2329, nearly 50 years after Fallout 4. In an article over at Kotaku, Dr. Weird, director of implementation, whatever that is, stated a big goal of theirs was to show nature reclaiming the world, kinda like Horizon Zero Dawn, though not to such an extreme degree since that game is set in what would be like the year 3000 or so. Some assets like trees and bushes are being reused from Fallout 4, but are being retouched, but a vast majority of foliage and every other asset, like with Fallout Miami, is being custom made by a team of 3D modelers, designers, and artists. But enough of that, let's talk about my favorite part. If we go to Cascadia's website and hop to the About section, we're told in no uncertain terms what the people involved in this mod think about Fallout 4. We are taking great pains here at the team to ensure that the shortcomings of Fallout 4 are addressed with Fallout Cascadia. Working with many talented coders around the world, we plan on correcting everything from the stunted dialogue system to the lack of special checks inside the game. We are carefully considering each criticism leveled at Bethesda's game and using the information gleaned to make Fallout Cascadia even better. Ha! You hear that, Bethesda? They're taking every criticism about your broken design philosophy and are making their mod based on that. Ha! So that means things like actual dialogue choices that matter and having an impact on the world, and my favorite, freedom in gameplay. We can... Okay, I'm gonna stop now, sorry. Anyway, much like Fallout Miami, the plot of Cascadia remains shrouded in mystery. All we know is the location and 3 of the game's factions. Sorry, I don't have any insider info. The project was only just beginning when I was in talks to join. The factions include the Republic of Cascadia, which will be the main big city in the game. There's also the Red Leafs, so they're Canadian, I guess. And we're also going to see the New California Republic show up. It sounds like the team is taking a lot of inspiration from this little game you might have heard of called Fallout New Vegas. Vegas. The Republic of Cascadia, or ROC, has expanded its borders, turning into a small nation, and the Red Leafs are fighting them off to remain independent. But instead of a four-way conflict over who controls Vegas and the Hoover Dam, you've instead got a two-sided civil war, with the New California Republic, the NCR, sitting on their northern border, watching the situation as it plays out before they potentially strike. As you can see from the video and concept art, this is a professional project. A lot of work, time, and even money has already gone into this, as well as love. The people behind this mod have a deep love and understanding of Fallout, and they're in this to make a great game and maybe correct Bethesda's mistakes. And remember, they, like all of these other folks, are working for free. Maybe some of them have an eye on the game industry and are hoping this will get them there, but they're not getting paid for this. There's not much to say about this one. It's Fallout New Vegas being remade in Fallout 4. As great as New Vegas is, it's not perfect. The combat is sluggish, it's more full of bugs than an ant farm and a bait shop, and it's not exactly easy on the eyes. Fallout 4 New Vegas hopes to change that. In fact, it will if they stick to what they're promising. This mod is nothing but New Vegas made with Fallout 4's engine. That's it. The team is making their own assets based only on what was in New Vegas, and they're bringing in voice actors that will either do impressions of characters from the game, or new actors of top quality to make up for the fact that New Vegas only had about 10 actors for hundreds of characters. The combat will also be the same as that of Fallout 4, which I will admit was the only thing that game did right, mostly because it was just a generic first-person shooter and... Anyway, the developers are sticking to what made Fallout New Vegas so great. They're using the same script, all the weapons and characters will be the same, ditto the quests, world, and emphasis on player choice. They'll finish the base game first before they go on to DLC, but that's a long ways off. We're even going to see the deeper skill system from New Vegas back as well, thank God. There will be a few improvements and tiny changes, but only with things that legitimately didn't work on the original game. We'll be seeing a bigger, more open Vegas Strip, for example, and don't be surprised if we see some of New Vegas's various cut content being added back, like the Rot-Faced Riches quest line, or Underpass Water Purifier, or any other number of NPCs, notes, quests, or locations that got cut for whatever reason. Sadly, they are also bringing over Fallout 4's awful, hideous, rotten, no good, dreadful, crappy, broken, uninteresting, and stupid fake Minecraft settlement building system, but I guess Po-Buddy's nerfed.
I thought I was just some lowlife, stuck in the ass end of nowhere with barely 2 caps to rub together. Didn't know where I belonged, didn't even know where I came from. It was then when I got this letter from this guy claiming to be my father, which mentioned nothing but that he had left me enough riches to last a lifetime.
Those 3 mods are coming out, well, not soon, but eventually, hopefully. What if you want to play some mods right now that continue Fallout's legacy of great story and player choice? Well, luckily you have plenty of options, and The Inheritance might be my favorite. Created by some guy, that's his actual name, The Inheritance starts with a dying old man asking you to... his screen name, that's his screen name. That probably isn't his birth name. That was a stupid-ass joke, Jesus. Got all kinds of stupid-ass jokes today. The Inheritance starts with a dying old man asking you to deliver a message to a seemingly random mercenary. The man is giving this merc his inheritance, but what that is remains a mystery. It's up to you and your new BFF to track the Inheritance down, discover who the old man is, and fight off the other sinister factions vying for the prize. I'd also recommend some guy's other mod, Russell, which is a companion mod with a great, deep, engaging storyline. This guy is a fantastic writer, and he tells these dark stories about death and loss, and swearing. He likes swearing. His mods are basically westerns, taking advantage of that Mojave backdrop. He's best known for the New Vegas Bounty series, but I'm not really a fan of those. They're pretty much everything I hate about Fallout 4's quests in that there's no variety or choice. It's all about taking bounties, following the quest marker, killing the bounties, then collecting your reward, that's it. There's some background story to them, but there's not much of the gameplay of these. Still, the Inheritance and Russell might be some of the best mods for New Vegas out there.
Hey, did you see a couple of guys on the road just now? They robbed me, bastards. No, I'm not all right. They took my favorite rifle and some other stuff. I do have a pistol with me, but I've got no ammo for it and my leg is hurt.
Willow is a companion mod by Llama RCA. You meet a young woman camping out in the desert named Willow who asks for your help to track down the men who robbed her and to get her gun back. And her teddy bear. There's not a ton of plot, but what I love about this mod is how you can interact with Willow. She's the most complete companion out there, as you can form a friendship with her, become lovers, break her heart, stay together forever, become enemies. She could try and kill you or leave you forever if you hurt her. Willow is also independent of you, so she'll scavenge for supplies on her own, she can go to sleep and talk to people on her own, she'll comment on what's happening throughout the story, she'll talk to you about your decisions throughout the game, she can set up a tent you can sleep in, and you can give her hand-to-hand combat training, which she'll start to use instead of just her gun all the time. There's a lot of depth with Willow, and while her actual quest line is short, she's still another of my favorite story-related quest mods for New Vegas. Okay, I think I've talked about Fallout mods long enough. There are plenty of other big DLC-sized and full game-size mods on the way like Fallout Aviation, Fallout Atlanta, The Frontier, and the minty fresh New California, as well as already existing mods for New Vegas like Autumn Leaves, The Rockwell Pursuit, Deimos, Beyond Boulder Dome, Boom to the Moon, Dog City Denver, The Deterrent, Honest Hearts Reborn, Novak Public Library, Vault 121. Oh, sorry, I got carried away again. Remember, those are all just quest mods. There are still a ton of other great mods as well, but I think I'll save those for another time. There is clearly a desire for these mods, these story-driven ones that emphasize player choice and traditional RPG elements, and there are more of them in development now than ever before. Now, I can't say that's a direct result of the direction Bethesda has taken Fallout over the years, but do you know of any mods that want to make Fallout New Vegas, or even Fallout 3, or any of the older games into an online shooter? You hear too many people begging for Fallout 76? Yeah, I didn't think so. While the official future of Fallout looks bleak, with Bethesda at the helm and New Vegas developer Obsidian Entertainment being purchased by Microsoft, thus ensuring they will never make a Fallout game again, the unofficial future looks brighter than ever thanks to the hard work of dedicated fans who just want to play a fantastic post-apocalyptic RPG series again, without all this shooter nonsense. Oh, looks like it's time for that quiz on my video, everybody! Okay, question number 1. Wait, where are you going? Come back, please. It's only 100 questions, they're multiple choice! I am really excited about some of these mods, in case you couldn't tell, and I hope this brief video made you just as excited as I am. And if you're excited about our upcoming videos, why not give us a hand by donating to our Patreon, or hitting that subscribe button. There are new videos every week, or if you hate me, you can go check out Clickus.com and our lovely writers over there.